the beginning of World War I, Italy had a treaty with Germany and Austria-Hungary. The treaty guaranteed for Germany and Austria-Hungary to protect Italy in case it was attacked by France. In 1915, Italy signed the Treaty of London, which was a treaty that Britain had offered Italy. In this treaty, Britain offered Italy territories. This offer was too tempting to refuse, so Italy accepted it even though they knew that they were betraying Germany and Austria-Hungary. Italy joined Britain's and France's side so that they could have a new front to the south of the Western Front. The front that Italy would open would cause the Central Powers to further split so that their power in the Western and Eastern Front would weaken. This treaty required Italian military success. The Italian troops were only able to get 10 miles inside of Austria-Hungary. Later on, Italy suffered due to the Battle of Caporetto. The Italian army lost 300,000 men. Allied powers, including Italy, wanted to apply sanctions to Germany due to all the destruction caused by World War I. This was named the Treaty of Versailles. While negotiating the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, the Allies were disappointed with the role of Italy in the war, so the Allies reduced the territories that Italy would receive. Italy's reward were reduced due to the fact that Italy didn't do their fair share. They believed that they didn't do their job correct because Great Britain and France had to send troops to protect the Italian front during the war. Because of this, Italy pulled out of the treaty's negotiation for a time, so Italy was left out of a lot of the treaty's negotiations. At the end, Italy ended up accepting the terms of the treaty.
In 1940, Benito Mussolini declared war on France. That same year, France and Great Britain declared war on Germany for the invasion of Poland. Years before Italy invaded British colonies, Benito Mussolini adopted Hitler's plan to expand the German and Italian territories, so he invaded Ethiopia in 1935. Italy was first sided with Germany in 1936, making a new alliance called the Rome-Berlin Axis. Italy, Germany, and Japan called themselves the Axis powers. The three countries had similar goals and they all wanted to expand their power and territory, and they promised a common front against communism.
The main reason Fascist Italy participated in World War II was because of Adolf Hitler's ideas of expansionism and Italy's later adaptation to his ideas of ruling. Italy's totalitarian leader during World War II was Benito Mussolini, a single leader, and his nationalist party, the Fascia di Combattimento. In Italy, they had the OVRA as a secret police. The OVRA suppressed anti-nationalist and anti-fascist movements, unified party cliques, and collected information on the population's political views. Mussolini's rule was based on Italian nationalism and the idea of restoring Italia irredenta. Italian fascists believed and claimed that Italy was the heir to ancient Rome and its legacy.
After the Second World War ended, the Cold War occurred and was defined as a conflict between the world's democratic nations led by the United States and the communist nations led by the Soviet Union. Italy contributed to the Cold War in two ways. The first one was that it was the southern end of Churchill's Iron Curtain, referred to as a Trieste, meaning that it was about involvement of religion in the war. The participation of the Church in the Cold War started in the same time the 1948 general election started, when the Italian Church and the Pope Pius responded greatly to the Italian political situation at the time. The Church involved and committed itself to the maximum. The Catholic Action Movement had a massive presence in the Italian civil society. It launched a huge propaganda in 1948, and even though the institutional church and the Vatican were two different entities, they were considered as one because all of them were fighting for a common cause. The second reason why Italy was in the Cold War was that Italy had a huge communist party. The 1948 elections in April led to a confrontation between the ideological and the electoral blocs. Italy became a Cold War region, so it split into two opposing camps, which were the West and East, the anti-communist and the communist groups, and the Catholic slogans of against or with.
After World War II, the United Nations was created in October 24, 1945. This organization was created to prevent a catastrophe as World War II. Italy joined the United Nations immediately in 1945 and helped host a United Nations organization. Italy is part of three organizations of the United Nations. The organizations are IFAD, WFP, and FAO. Italy took a big part of the organizations and events of the United Nations. After World War II, Italy faced many issues. This country had political issues since some people wanted a monarchy and others wanted a republic. This caused chaos in the Italians. Another issue they had was an economic issue. This was caused by the inflation in Italy and made the economy unstable. Also, there were a lot of killings between the communists and socialists. This problem was solved when a republic was established in Italy. Also, the inflation in Italy was solved.